welcome to Happy Catastrophe. I'm Candace, and today is one of our favorite videos, but this time it is my finished pages from August and September, and you'll see why I combined the two. And also, I'm going to finish up with my October plans here at the end, so buckle up your seatbelt. Let's go. So we're going to start off with what happened in August, and dun, 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 I think you can see that. COVID. So this is my third time having COVID. I got it at the very beginning of September of 2020, back before there were even tests for COVID. And I got really sick. I was sick for 3 months, almost 4 months, and was out of work and everything. Yeah, I think it was 4 months. And I got long COVID from that. A year later, I got it again, even though I was fully vaccinated. And now it's a year later, I got it again. Every time it's been shorter, but I do have long-term effects from it. And I'm on a lot of supplements trying to heal. And I need to quit getting COVID. So my doctor says COVID's very bad right now as of well, now it's October of 2023. But I was just one of thousands and thousands who caught it. So I wanted my regular goal is always to do 10 pictures, and I only actually did 6. I was sick this time for 2.5 weeks, which is the shortest I've ever been sick, and I was thrilled with that. But it did interfere with my my coloring. Unfortunately, I work in healthcare, so I just keep getting it, even though I'm vaccinated. I wanted to do 3 videos. I did 2. I wanted to do 3 hashtags. I did. I had one group buddy goal, and I did that. And actually, I didn't make goals for these, did I? Ha ha! So the only goal I made was for total pages. Right on. So let's just say I met all my goals. Yay. Now, I did end up the month with 125 books. And I did not go into, I did purchase 1 new book for that month, but I didn't go into how many were untouched or anything. I just figured if I finished something in August, that was a win. My coloring plans now look kind of like this. I just sort of scribble out ideas. That's what they looked for, at least in August. And as you see, I got almost nothing done. I did get a tarot coloring here. I did get an astrology coloring, which I wanted to do. I did work on alien worlds, but I didn't get any of my group buddies done. I didn't do any of, very much of anything. But I did get a few things done. So I decided to lump August and September together, and then I went bonkers in September. So we have a lot of pages actually to look at. So let's start with August. All right. So we're starting off August in this book, Astrology Coloring by Anna Joren. And I love to follow the hashtag that my friend Coloring with Kate puts up. And it is hashtag Coloring the Zodiac 2023. And I have missed a few months. So I decided I would get into this book, which was untouched. This was one of my untouched books. This is a fabulous book. It's got really good paper. It's not thick cardstock, but it is one-sided. It does take water mediums. And I just really, really like it. I find it just, everything goes down really well on this paper. I loved this Taurus, and it was bummed I missed Taurus season for that, but maybe next year. And then, look at that Cancer crowd. Isn't that wonderful? This is the one I did for the season of the Leo. Now, this is the first time I've ever colored a lion, and I love it, actually. I had no idea what I was doing, but what I used really helped me, and that's this. And these are the Tim Holtz Distress Ink watercolor pencils. And I know I've promised many of you a tutorial on how to use these. I love these. The problem with these is the name. Don't think of them as a watercolor pencil. You can't use them like that. These are basically Neo Color 2s. They're exactly like that. They're a stick, a pigment stick. That is solid pigment. And this is just paper that peels off. And these have never been sharpened, and none of the paper's been peeled off, and I've used them in many, many dozens and dozens of pictures. So that lasts forever because it is just like pure paint on here. And it's a pretty poor name, and that's unfortunate that Tim Holtz called it that, because a lot of people go up here and they use it like a pencil and it crumbles and it feels like a crayon, and then they have to put way too much water on the paper and it ruins the paper. You can't use it like that in coloring books. Maybe it works like that in cardstock for makers who do cards and such, but it doesn't work in coloring books. The best way I've found to use these is like you do with Neocolor 2s, is I wet the tip of it to get it nice and wet so the pigment's a little bit looser on there. And then I take a paintbrush and I take the pigment off of that. And I lay it here so that, you know, the wet pigment kind of pools there, and I can mix and match. And that's how I got these different colors, because I only have 2 sets of these. There are 3 sets in total. They're like 20 bucks a piece. They're not super cheap, but you get all the colors you need, because basically there are 12 in each, and it's out of the 3 sets it's the top 36 colors that are used in Distress ink. It's the exact same color. So if you used Villainous Potion in the ink pad style, this Villainous Potion comes off of this stick exactly the same color. He has a really long video explaining these and how to use them, but he's explaining how to use them for makers, and the way he emphasizes doesn't work for coloring books. But he does explain why he picked the colors he did and how hard he worked to make sure they matched exactly the colors that are in the original stamp pads. So that's why I like them, because I've used Distress ink forever. And so I know when I pull out tumbled glass, I know exactly what color that's going to be. So I feel very confident using these, and I use these pretty much exclusively for the Kirby books. I don't use much else in Kirby but these. That kind of paper is wonderful with these. So if you're ever thinking about these, give them a try. I promise I will do a video showing how I color with them, probably in a Kirby book. And I have the set 1 and 3, and I keep meaning to, but one of these days I will be buying set 2, so I have them all. But I do love these a lot. So this is what I used it here in this lion, and I used it everywhere except for the sky. For some reason, I chose to do the sky in pencil, and that was with my new Color 300 set. Worked lovely on this paper, and I think it's just because I'm not sure. I guess because there was these little spots, and I just thought I just started doing it with a pencil and just finished it with a pencil. It didn't take very long. But when I got done, I was like, why did I do it in pencil? I avoid pencils as much as possible because I have arthritis. So I love this paint because it's just effortless and it goes on so well. And you can make these shadows because you could mix. And I just really enjoyed this. And now that I've colored my first lion, I want to color another one. He was a lot of fun. So that was my first coloring for August. And that was for the Zodiac coloring hashtag with Coloring with Kate. Thank you, Kate, for that hashtag. I absolutely love it. Now let's see what I did next. All right, then I whipped out my brand new Looney Tunes Coloriage Mystère book, and this is from Hatchet Heroes. This is the Art Therapy, and it is a color by number, and I bought this off of Lyrica. If you saw my Did I Find the Perfect Color by Number book video, that's where I went through several different kinds of color by numbers and compared them and contrasted them and tried to decide what was best for me. And I really do like these a lot. These are a lot of fun. I just wish they were single-sided. That would make these perfect. But so I played around in this book and I did this first page. Now I used mostly apple barrel acrylic paint with a brush. I did try in a few places to use a pen, an acrylic pen, and this would have been the Arteza acrylic pens, but they streak real bad. So I told myself any more big areas and I must do it with a brush. And I can turn this light off and maybe you can see it without the glare and it might be even better. And I've just told myself the rule is if it's a big area, it has to be done with a brush and some actual paint. And that way I won't get these streaks. And so that's what I did here. And I just got smart and did it everywhere almost. And I like it so much better. I do have both folk art and apple barrel paint like this. I usually buy them at Walmart when I'm at Walmart with my client. And I found the apple barrel is better. It has a better coverage and it's more matte, and sometimes it takes less layers. So I'm tending to stick with just apple barrel now. Looks like, see, I did this part with a pen and it just gets streaky. I haven't found an acrylic paint pen that I really like yet. The Artisas are not it. But I do use them for the smaller areas. And then the large areas is all the acrylic paint. I had a ton of fun doing this. I tried to not look at the solutions in the back, but I did have to in a few places because I wasn't sure what I was doing, and I wanted to make sure I was getting the right shades, because as you can see, that's all the colors there, and I wanted to get the right shades. I wasn't always right on. Like this blue is weird for a shadow, but I did really like this. And look how good it looks with the black outline. In fact, that's my favorite part. I like doing the black outline was so relaxing and meditative that's my favorite part. And in this one, I did the color first and the outline last. In another one I've worked on, I did it the other way around, and I can't decide which way I like better. But they turn out really good. These Hatchet Hero ones do. And I think I'll just work my way, starting with one and working on, because you really can't tell what it is. And that makes it all the more fun. So unless I have to, I don't want to know what it is. Now, will I go back to back? I mean, because using the acrylic, it did crinkle the paper a little bit, and I'm right-handed, so I might just do the right side of the pages all the way through. And then if I ever get to the end, I'll do the left. But I don't enjoy doing the left so much because I'm reaching across like this. It doesn't lay as nicely. It's already a little crinkled from the water. So yeah, I think I'll just do the right-hand side because there's a bazillion of these, right? And like I'm ever going to do them all. So I think I'll just stick to the right-hand side of the book and work my way through that way. So that was my second page. Bugs Bunny, who is my favorite Looney Tunes character. All right, let's see what I did next. All right, my next book was for my own hashtag, which is hashtag Color the Tarot. And I worked in, well, last night I was thinking about my top 5 favorite books, and I was thinking about doing maybe a hashtag where you pick a picture out of your top 5 favorite books. And so going through my books, I decided that this was in my top 5, and actually this might be my number 1 favorite book because I've colored the most in it and I never get tired of it. So I think I could safely say this is my favorite book that I own. It's just the best she's ever done, and it's just every page is great. And so I did the Emperor. Now in my video series, we were not on the Emperor, we were on the Lovers, I believe, at the time. But there's no deadlines. There's no, I'd like you to go through the videos in order just because they build on each other, but you can color the pages however you want. And I will always, those of you that are following along know that I add all of your pages to, when you submit a page, I put it in the very next video and it shows up in every video after that. So it's a lot of fun seeing everybody's pages. And I'm also, every now and then when I get quite a few more pages, I make an updated, compilation of all of them, and I publish just that. And it's wonderful to see everybody's. And this page is becoming very popular. At first, only 1 or 2 people did it, but now several have. And in the next video, which will be the Chariot, you're going to see several new ones of this. And because I put them side by side, so you'll see all of these in a row. And it's really cool to see what people have done with the color scheme and with these swoops. But I'm really having a fun time with is seeing what people are doing with his eyes, because it's not clear if they're open or shut or what. I made mine open, but like blinded, like there's no pupils or anything. Some people did them shut, some people did them open. So that's been really fun to see, just all the differences. He reminded me kind of an Aztec or Mayan type god. And so I put him like that. I made these into colorful feathers, and I tried to make the hat look like it was straw. Let's bring you up. He has that open third eye, which bugs me. I was just watching a video of Pixie's where she says she doesn't like the 3 eyes. I don't either, but I did it. And he is in outer space. We talk about in this video, the Emperor, what that card means and why it makes sense that Fabiana Attanasio put him in up in space. So if you're interested, take a gander at that video series and color along with us. You can color anything, any card of the tarot, and submit it at any time. But yeah, the video series has been a whole lot of fun. We're learning each card one by one. So this is all done in alcohol markers. I always do mythographics in alcohol markers. They're just perfect for it, and that is my favorite medium. There's no pencil at all in this, and this shiny gold is that Kuretake Gansai Tambi Starry Colors. I always have that close by. Let me grab it. My copy is a mess because I use it all the time. Here it is. Ta-da! And this gold is probably, I think it's that darker one. I think I used this one here this time. I have so much fun with that set. I use it in a lot of things, and it just comes out really opaque like this and just gorgeous. So yeah, that's my Emperor from Fabiana Attanasio, and in my favorite book, Cosmic Spirit. All right, we have 2 more that I did in August. Let's see them. All right, the next book I worked in was Alien Worlds. Now, my copy's getting a little scuffed up, isn't it? Alien Worlds, when it arrived at my doorstep, I absolutely love Kirby Rosanes, of course. But this book seemed so special. For one, it's purportedly one of the last ones he's going to do, at least for a long while. He's doing some other things now. And it's a story, and it starts at the beginning of you're this space journey person, space wanderer, and you're journeying through the space to all these different places, and he has, you know, the explanation of what all these places you visited in the back. And it just was so special to me that I thought, I am going to have to treat this book very specially. So I decided to not look at any more flip throughs. I had looked at a couple, but I have since, you know, thank you long COVID, forgotten what's in this book. And I'm just starting at the beginning and working my way through as if I were the person going on the journey, and I don't know what's coming next. And I've been liking this so much. Again, so this is the first one I did. This was done in July, I believe. And these are some glitter gel pens, but everything else is those Tim Holtz watercolor distress ink pencils that use like paint. So see how well it works in Kirby books? This paper just loves this stuff. Everything that's done in here, everything is those pencils. And it just makes coloring these books so much easier when you're able to use a medium like something you can apply with a brush. It just makes it go a lot faster than if I had done this all in pencil, it would have taken me forever. I did this in this summer. Many of you saw these. This was the cockpit, like you're in the cockpit, and I did it like an old school retro, you know, just basic colors. The primary colors, had a lot of fun. Again, this is all just watercolor distress ink pencils. It's just those pencils applied with a brush. That's all it is. And, you know, even the stars are that. Like, I didn't use anything but that in this. I decided, and then this is the one I did in August. So, yes, I did the credits page. I have never done a page like this. I always skip these and go right to the meat of a book. But I decided this was part of the story. So here's just some examples, I'm guessing, of some of the planets we might see. I'm not sure because I didn't read ahead. But I started to color the words too, but then went, oh, that's for the birds. That was done in gel pen. But the rest of this is, again, that looks glittery, but it's not. This is all that paint. And it went really fast, actually. Took me only a couple days to do this. That's the top of our ship. I thought that looked like ice, like an ice planet. And so that's that. Now, sneak peek. I moved on and I was like, okay, I'm done with the credits. Let's just get to the meat. So I did skip this one. I would like to go back in and do this with pencils. That would be fun, but that's a bonus if I ever get to that. I started on the very first page where we're heading to our very first planet. This is a whip. Everything, all of the rocks, and Kirby likes his rocks, holy moly, and the ship and the jet fuel stuff, that is all the Distress Ink watercolor pencils. But this background is actually an Arteza acrylic pen. I love this color, and even though I don't care for those pens, I think this color is fantastic. And I didn't want anything, although it makes sense that this would be darker space than the space closer to the planet, I think. I actually don't know how space works. I wanted these rocks to really show up because I spent a lot of time putting those shadows in. It's like, dag nabbit, they're going to show. So I loved this blue. But then I didn't want to use that. I knew that if I put use that same Arteza acrylic paint pen for all of this, it's going to look streaky. I was able to get away with it here because it's just little bits and bobs and it didn't have enough room to get streaky. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do in this area. Probably something with actual acrylic paint that will go down matte and not streak, but I haven't decided if I want to go darker than this blue or lighter than this blue. I don't know. Does the planet give off light? I don't know how space works. But according to Kirby's story, this is a green, lush planet. It's the first planet we're going to. So this is going to be all greens. And that I will definitely do with the watercolor pencils because that will be so easy with paintbrush and stuff. So when I'm going to get to this as soon as I decide what to do with this big open space, because isn't that always the hardest thing to work on is big open space. But so that's my whip for the month. This will be finished in October. For sure, even though it's not a Halloween picture because I'm doing nothing else but Halloween. But I do want to finish this so I can get on to the next one, which I don't know what it is because I'm not looking ahead. So that's my work so far in Alien Worlds, Kirby Rosanes, and I just absolutely love this artist. I don't think I could pick, well, yes, I can. One of my other top 5 is Mythic World. That is my favorite book of his. I've done many in that book, and so that's one of my top 5s. If I only picked one of Kirby Rosanes to pull out of the house in case if the house was on fire, it would be that one. But second, I think it would be this one. All right, let's look at the last book I did in August. Okay, the last book I did in August is a group buddy. So in the beginning of this video, I said I didn't do any group buddies, but I lied. I just realized I did. And this one, there's a group of us on Instagram that are doing this. We have an Instagram group and you're welcome to join. Just get a hold of Doodle Robot 42. I'll put her name right across here. And if you want to join us, and every other month, we do this every other month, we pick a picture and we work on it. And they're usually heavily modified. Let's see, August, July, June, I did this one. And if you saw my July finished pages, you would see how much I modified this to make it look like a lava lamp. We have a lot of fun. Some people heavily modify these pages because they are very busy. This is one that I never finished. This is a whip that I just didn't like how it was going and never finished. But some people don't. So some people modify it, some people don't. And the one we did in August, that's not it, but that is one that I actually didn't modify. That's the way the page looked. I just colored it. Was the panda. Aha, I had it marked all along. This one. Now, this one I didn't modify at all. This is pretty much how it looked like. What I did do to color it was I thought we all interpreted this differently, and I will show you the rest of them right after this. Some people thought this was green tea. Some people picked matcha. I thought it was like a nice latte or maybe even cocoa. I had COVID. I was feeling like terrible and I wanted to be cozy and safe and warm. And so I just colored him in colors of like hot cocoa. And then all of this is acrylic paint. because I did cover up some of the fiddly bits in there and made it more solid. And then the shiny stuff here is Kuretake, or maybe it's, I think it's just metallic acrylic pen. So all this is acrylic, but the panda himself, sorry I bumped you, the panda himself is washi tape. This is and you'll see what happened. I'll show you what happened. I cut too far and I went through the page and into the next page. You can see it there. Whoops, I totally forgot to put something behind it in case that happened. I was pushing too hard because you place the washi tape down and then you cut around it, right, to make the shape. And you have to cut very carefully with an X-Acto knife, very light. Well, I cut too heavy. So I went right through it. But I really love the shininess. I just wanted it to be chocolatey and vanilla-y and then with pops of gold. And I didn't want to make him black, but I didn't want to make him brown because he's a panda bear. So I used this little washi tape. This is very cheap washi tape from Wish. I have a bunch of it. It's very, very thin. It's very, very cut. It's just thin strips. And I just laid them down and then cut around it. Not very carefully. So that's what I did for my page. And then here are the rest of the pages. Aren't those amazing? Everybody does it differently. It's a really, really fun group to be involved with. A lot of great people. So again, get a hold of Doodle Robot if you'd like to join, if you have this book. If you don't have it, it's a little bit hard to find. But if you do have it, or you end up acquiring it, come join us. Now that was all I did for August. That was it. But then September came. And boy, did I go to town. 15 books. So let's take a look at September. All right, so it's been a few days and we are ready now to look at September's coloring ideas. You know, things pop up, get in the way of videoing, but here we are. And this month went much better. I was not sick. So we had 15 total pages. I didn't keep track of my videos again. The Buddy Colors hashtags, untouched books. I did 5 of the 15 pages on 5 untouched books. That's fantastic. And I had 4 new purchases, which brings my total books up to 128, leaving 43 untouched. And so my percentage is going down even more, 33.6. So I had some ideas that I threw out here for myself. The ones that are yellowed are ones that I actually did. And it was a good month. So let's get started looking at the pages. Okay, our first book is this one, the Kawaii Tarot Coloring Book by Lulu Mayo. As you know, I have a hashtag, Color the Tarot, and many of you are playing along with that. I've got plenty of videos where we talk about each one of these cards in order, and starting with the Fool. And our most recent card was the Lovers, which is, I did right here. Now this one I did with, it didn't quite turn out the way I thought it would. I did these in pencil here, but I don't have much patience for big spaces with pencils, so I just started like at some point. I think I actually decided, I did this one first and then decided to base this one. Yes, with Himi gouache, but I based it to a little dark. I wasn't going to have the bunny so dark. So I kind of had to go back in and give it some definition and such. It's all right, but they're still adorable, aren't they? It's hard to mess up this book because it's done so well. It's drawn so well. I did use Himi gouache on the rest of it, and then these shiny bits are metallic acrylic paint. So So that's the Lovers. I'm having so much fun with that series of Color the Tarot. And all of you have submitted so many fantastic pages. Every month I do another card and I update the reel that has all of your pictures on it. So when you post a picture with that hashtag, it shows up in the very next video and every video going forward. Also, a couple times a year, I just post a video of just those pictures so everybody can see their pictures. So you'll get to see them a lot. So yeah, definitely color any pictures of the tarot cards of any card and I'll put it in there. So the Lovers. The next one on our that we're doing is the Chariot, and that video will be coming up very soon. So that's Kawaii Tarot Coloring Book by Lulu Mayo. The next book that I worked out was Mythographic Cosmic Spirit, which is probably the most favorite book I have. Actually, it is the most favorite book I have in my entire collection. So if I were to pick one to run out of the house if it was on fire, it would be this one. And I have done quite a bit in this, all for my hashtag Color the Tarot mostly. And you've seen many of these. But let's go to the one that I did this month, which was, again, the Lovers. So the Lovers was the card we did again, and this one I had a lot of fun with. I really wanted to make it pinks. Maybe it's cliche, but pink just means love to me. So I based it all in alcohol markers like I do with my mythographic books. That's why I like them so much, is I can use my favorite medium, which is alcohol markers, and I use Copics and some Spectrum Noirs. As my Spectrum Noirs are drying up, I'm having to say goodbye because they're hard to replace. They've pretty much kind of become obsolete, the ones that I use. And so instead I'm putting my money into Copic refills. So I'm just using Copics. Eventually I'll just be using only Copics. But I have a lot of them. And so I have quite a choice of colors, and especially as I get refills. I did use a bit of my pinks and reds and purples on this one, but I absolutely love how it turned out. I don't think there's any pencil work. No, it's just all alcohol markers. And then the shiny bits are, again, acrylic paint. I use Arteza acrylic paint, which I do like a lot. And I do have some folk art as well that I picked up from Walmart. The turtle on this came out a little dark. This green that I used was a little darker than I intended to. I think it would have been slightly better if it was more of a light brown green, more like what I did his tummy with. But he shows up that way. I love how her dress sort of goes into the rest of and I kind of wanted it to. I wanted the dress to flow in with the jellies and make her look like part of the background. I finally made a compass that I think looks kind of like metal. I have a hard time with metal. And this was done with alcohol markers. Again, no pencils. And I absolutely love how Fabiana put these. I mean, this picture is just gorgeous, isn't it? And it was a real joy to color. I mean, let me tell you, every picture in this book is a joy to color. And I manage or seem to pick it up every month. So again, yeah, great book. Mythographic Cosmic Spirit. And then after that, I decided I need to start finishing a whip or two. And I had a long-standing whip in this book. This is World of Souls Akira, the Guardian of the Spirits. This is Lainey Dow. I do appreciate Lainey Dow's illustrations a lot. The books are cheaply made. The paper is cheap. This one actually has a couple, it's missing one page, it's missing a page. Like it has doubles. Like, look, there's this page and then here it is again. Here is a page. I've looked at other people's flip throughs and I'm missing a page and instead got doubles of this one. You know, just, it's not Lainey Dow's fault. It's Amazon. But, you know, the images are a lot of fun and I hadn't done anything in here. So I decided to take a color palette. I hadn't done one of Amanda's color palettes for a while. And so I decided, aren't these pages great? Just looking at them makes me want to do them again. They're so much fun just to attack with alcohol ink or any kind of marker, and they just go really fast and they color up neat. The one I did was this one, and I decided to do a palette challenge. That's what I meant to say. And the palette was a couple of browns, this red, and the pink, I believe. It was a palette that was really unusual. And I got the tree trunks and I got all this done and I got the fire and I just got stuck with the palette. So I veered from the palette and brought in some greens and the blue for the background. And then, of course, again, the shiny. Now, this gold is actually Kuretake Gansai Tombi gold. I always have it close at hand. It's this right here. This, I'm bumping you like crazy. Starry Colors. Yeah, it's heavily loved, heavily used. And all of the shiny in this is that, including that in the deer. This is the whiter gold color. I love that set, and when I start running out, I'll rebuy it. It's my favorite gold of all the golds I've ever tried, and it just goes on so thick and beautiful, and you don't have to do multiple passes like you do with acrylic. This is watercolor. Just, you know, it's budget friendly and it's gorgeous. So that's what I did for this one. I had a great time doing it once I stopped restricting myself. I usually love to do the palette challenges because the restriction is such a challenge, but I really struggled with that one on this page. However, I did use it on a different page and it was more successful. So I'll show you there. Anyway, that was my page out of World of Souls, Akira by Lainey Dow. All right, moving on. All right, here we have Sea of Colors by Angela Gonzalez, and she is just a fantastic illustrator. Yes, the paper is crap in this book, but it takes alcohol out markers really well, and it doesn't suck them up too much, and it does, I've heard, do pencils and water medium pretty well. So there's Amanda Colors has a hashtag for this, and I'll put it right here because it just recently changed. And that hashtag, she has a page out of this book every month. And anyone can join along and post their page with their hashtag, and she shows a reel of it at the end of the month, and it's fantastic. Lots of fun. This book is lots of fun. Lots of really neat pictures. The one I did for this one, I actually more successfully used that palette. And while I'm flipping to find the page, let me show you what the palette was. This was the Amanda Colors palette of the month, and the one that I struggled with the Lainey Dow picture and did not succeed. So then I decided, well, I'm going to take the picture of the month and use the palette of the month. So I've got Amanda Colors Challenge palette and her picture out of Sea of Colors together. I like to put it all together like that sometimes. It's a lot of fun. Especially I liked because this palette is not an underwater palette. I mean, you wouldn't normally use these colors for under the sea. So that's one thing that made it fun. So I had a lot of fun with this one, trying to figure out where to put all the colors. No, nothing is realistic at all. You don't think you'll find most of these colors under the water, but it was a load of fun. It was easy coloring, again, just alcohol markers. I got a little bleed in a couple of spots where my alcohol marker got too juicy. I just refilled it. But yeah, I had a really good time with this. It's very relaxing coloring. This book is very relaxing coloring. And she has a new one, or she has Happy Cats, I know. And I don't know if that's newer than this or not. And I'm going to be getting that soon. But it's just really fun coloring. So if you're interested in something relaxing, and these were all palette challenges and intensely cute, definitely check this book out. All right, let's move on. Then I bought a new book. This book is fantastic. It's huge, as in the way of thick, chunky. It is the entire tarot deck done in the way only Alan Robert can do it. And it's fantastic. The write-ups are great on it. They're hilarious. He adds his own sense of humor. And the illustrations are great. Now, they're not too big, so they're easy to tackle. And it starts with the major arcana. So I have added this to my tarot book coloring collection for the hashtag that I run and for the video series that I run. And I decided, look, this book is even sewn bound. Isn't that amazing? The paper is phenomenal. Absolutely great. We'll take anything. So I started with the Fool. I decided I would start with the beginning of this, and I like the paper, the illustrations, everything about this book so much. The size is manageable. See, here's my hand. I have small hands, and this is a really small picture, basically, easy to do. And I've decided I'm just going to do them all. So I started over with the Fool, and this I used Ohuhu watercolor markers. Now, I'm not crazy about those at all, but I'm always trying to use them. And I find they're super streaky, but if I'm really careful, I can base things with it. And so that's what I did. And then I put Color pencils over the top. I have that 300 set that just recently came out, and they work great on this paper. This paper's pretty smooth, like pretty smooth. Like if there's tooth at all, it's very small. But I found those pencils work great, and I would imagine polychromos would work great, which are my very favorite pencils. I don't have Prismas, so I don't know about those. But I would imagine almost anything would work with this. I had a really good time with this one. Love that he made his Fool a hunchback. And he made the dog, which always shows up. There's always an animal in the Fool card, and often it's a dog. And they made him a skeleton dog. It's great. And often there's usually a sun, and often the Fool is looking up joyously and like just walking off. Well, this guy's just plodding along, and boom, he's just going to go off the edge of the cliff. I love it. I love the nature that's in it. It's just a great card. And so then I decided to keep going. I had so much fun with this, and I did the Magician. Now this one was done with just pencils. I decided to do one in only pencils. There were parts of it I did not enjoy, like some of the bigger stuff. Again, I have arthritis and little patience, and so I can only do pencils in little bits. But every now and then I like to tackle a full page in pencils. I do love the end result. There were parts of it I really loved. I loved everything about doing this cabinet. I thought that was a lot of fun. Hated doing the clothes. So I don't know why it is that I have a hard time mixing mediums in one picture. I tend to want to do all alcohol markers or all pencils. I need to get used to mixing and matching more than just adding sparkle at the end. So if I would have let go of the fact that this didn't need to be an all pencil picture, I could have done the clothes in something more enjoyable for me. And so some kind of marker or paint would be more enjoyable. But I really like him. I love that the Magician is like a zombie. I do like the color palette that I chose, I think. I do like it. Like I said, I had a lot of fun doing this. The wood and that was a lot of fun. Really good times. And because on this side of the page, you have the write-up of the page before, you know, if you don't mind losing some of this or making it a little more difficult to read, you can use alcohol markers on it. In fact, I used some things that bled through on this one. The Ohuhu, these are the Ohuhu water-based markers. They bled through a bit. So I don't think watercolors or gouache or anything like that would bleed through. I'm just not real great with my Ohuhu markers. But I chose to not use something that bled through yet. But I'm not averse to it. These pictures are just phenomenal. The Empress, he put Guliana in there. Yeah, if you're interested in a tongue-in-cheek, great, fun, tackleable because they're of the size, fun illustrations, lots of them, and listen to this. Superb paper. Oh. Pumpkin, 3 of Pentacles is a pumpkin man. Actually, that's 4 of Pentacles, so I always forget. The inscription's on the back. 4 of Pentacles is a pumpkin man. I might have to do that for Halloween. Anyway, Fantastic book. Absolutely recommend this one. Get it on Amazon. Okay, let's see what I did next. All right, this is Realm of the Gods, and this is my favorite Korean book. It is my only Korean book. I would love to change that, but I have a hard time purchasing off of Amazon Japan because of the shipping. The only way to get a real good break on shipping is to buy several books, and I just never seem to have that kind of money put together. So soon that may change, and I would love to grab several books off of there. I can't just buy them one at a time, though, like when we had Book Depository. So sad. That's where I got this one. Anyway, so Realm of the Gods, I've done a few in here. The paper, like any Korean book, is fantastic. You've seen some of the pages I've done in here. And the way this book works is it has a colored page, and then a page you can do. And this was what I did. And I do use the colored pages for inspirations in different ways. I did get some color inspiration from this page when I did this one, but I also, if I can't understand what's happening, I look at the page. So again, here's one that's colored, and here's the one for you to color. So it's a really neat book. If you're interested, I'm sure you can get it from Amazon Japan now. I know you can find it on Etsy. It's called Realm of the Gods. It's fantastic. It's Korean mythology is what it is. And so the page I did out of this was the girls, the two sisters. So here's how it was colored by them. And here is how I colored it. Now, these are two sisters in mythology. They, as the story goes, it was a hot night, so they snuck out to go bathe in the creek out in the pasture. And while they were out there bathing, a little spirit animal, a mythological animal called a sheepjin or an anhui. My Google Translate was having a hard time, kept giving me different words for this guy. But he steals shoes. He comes up, and if he likes your shoes, he takes them. And that's pretty much all he does. He's not very harmful, but annoying. But a fun little Korean myth of this guy taking these girls' shoes. So here they are bathing in the creek. And here I used, again, Ohuhu watercolor markers. I started with them here, hated them with a passion, switched to just colored pencils for the rest of the page. So all of the grass is based in Ohuhu. The streakiness worked for me, though. I made it, once I realized I couldn't get rid of it, I just accentuated it and made it into a texture for the grass. So that's on purpose. And then, so everything green had because once I started, I had to continue with it, had the Ohuhu marker base. And then all the rest was my Black Widow and Spear Farben colored pencils. So Black Widow and Spear Farben are both budget friendly, I think, compared to Prismacolor and Polychromos. And I would say Spear Farben are a bit better than Black Widow, but they're pretty compatible. And I love both of them. I have them both in the same pencil case. I do grab the Spear Farbens first, I've found. And then if I don't have a color that I want, I go to the Black Widow because Black Widow has more colors. But I've never had any problems with the Black Widows. So that's what this is. I had a lot of fun doing this, although I was frustrated with the Ohuhu markers. I don't know why I keep trying to give them a chance. I hate them with a passion. I love the water that happened. That was a happy accident. And the watermelon, I love the way they're cooling their watermelon. I had fun trying to make the water. It took me a bit to realize that their feet were in the water because it doesn't look like it here. And I do love the color palette they used here. But I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and this is what a creek looks like here. Pacific Northwest of USA. It's a temperate rainforest where I live. So everything's green and lush with lots of plants and water everywhere. There's rivers and creeks and lakes everywhere, and they look like this, green. Although the water is much bluer, but again, I can't remember why it was an accident, but I remember getting halfway done and going, that's not what I meant to do, but I like it, so I'm going to keep doing it. It might have been the choice of colors. So that's that page in this wonderful book. This book is a joy. I could color in just it month after month after month. I have 3 pages colored in it. I have this one and the one you just saw and this one. That's the, she's a mermaid, but she's a cursed daughter. She fell in love with the wrong guy. Father cursed her. She tried to run away with him. Father caught her, cursed her, and made her into this fish woman where she lives in the harbors of Japan. And yeah, I believe it's Japan that she's actually in, but maybe that she lives in. And she blows favorable or ill winds to the ships. I don't know why Japan's sticking in my head. It's probably Korea. It's a Korean myth. But for some reason, I'm thinking that she's in Japan. Anyway, I love her to pieces. She was a lot of fun. I loved the color palette that they used. I thought that was great. I'm just not a muted colored person. Everything has to be bright. And this one was fun. This one I did months ago. And I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, this is gouache. And Tim Holtz Distress watercolor pencils, or what I like to call pigment sticks. And then this is, again, Black Widow and Spearfarben pencils. Fun book if you can find it. Here is the ISBN in case you're ever interested in purchasing it and finding it. Again, I can't recommend this one enough. It's perfect. All right, let's see what I did next. All right. This was an untouched book. Fabiana Attanasio's Peter Pan. This is part of her series of fairy tales. And this is a fantastic book. It's so much fun, but I just hadn't broken into it. It is single-sided, so I have to be creative. But I don't think I'd want to use alcohol markers on most of these pages anyway. Pencils work really great with them. And the one I decided to do was this one. Now this is, let me, you see everything on my desk. This is, this black background was already here. So what I did was use a lot of metallic acrylic paint. I really wanted it to be sparkly. I switched my plan part way. I was going to make him all kinds of colors. And then I realized it was just going to look like what I tend to do, vomit color all over a page. And I'm really trying to restrain myself in that way so that I can get pages that are more interesting to look at. So I decided to give him a color scheme of greens and golds. They just seem so, I don't know, his leaves and everything he's got in there seem very tropical, and the green and the gold seem very tropical. And then I kind of carried the gold over into the buildings, but then I made the rest of this color scheme pinks and a light dusky blue. And the stars are a bronze, which is kind of a compromise between the two. There's a little Tinkerbell, she's gold. Now, all of this sparkly gold was the Kiritake Gansai Tombi, this crazy palette here. And the bronze was an actual acrylic paint that I had by Folk Art, I believe. It wasn't as much fun to work with because, again, you had to go over it several times, whereas the watercolor was just one coat. Lots of fun. And there is some acrylic paint pen in here as well. I really wanted this page to be all very opaque, and so everything on here is paint. There's no pencil, there's no markers, it's just all paint. And I had a lot of fun with it, made it sparkly and a lot of fun. And this kind of opened the door to this book for me. I was kind of intimidated by this book. There aren't many books that intimidate me because I'm not worried about making mistakes. But I don't know, for some reason this book has stymied me a bit. I mean, the pictures are fantastic. She has several in this series. She has Pinocchio and Snow White and Alice in Wonderland. This one's my favorite and the only one I really, really wanted. You can find most of them if you look. Amazon has some, eBay, Etsy. You can find them in various places. Book outlet. But I actually only really wanted this one. I like this one the best. So yeah, that's my first page in Peter Pan. Definitely not my last. I can't wait to do more. And if anybody has this book and wants to do a buddy color, let me know, because that would be fun to see how we do it in different ways. All right, let's see what I did next. And next what I did was I busted into this book. Now, I don't have many Hatchet Hero books. I resisted getting into them because of their price. You know, you're looking at 20 bucks a book. But as it turned out, nobody does color by number like Hatchet Heroes. Their only downfall is they're double-sided. If they were single-sided, they'd be the best color by number on the planet by far. This one is I've watched a lot of videos that several of you have created where you flip through the Hatchet Hero books, because I knew I could only afford a few. And this one of all the tombs was my favorite that I saw flip through up until the brand new one, the 11. I've got to get that one. That one looks fantastic. But this one's a lot of fun. And here's the page I did. Now, I did this Doodle Robot, had an inspiration prompt for the month of September, which is was it September? August or September? I might have been late. It was Don't Bug Me, I'm Coloring. And so she encouraged anybody if they wanted to color a picture of a bug. And I remembered that there was a Bug's Life picture in here. So I actually had to look to find it. I had to look at the answers and find the page. I prefer to just start coloring a page and not know what it is. But it was fun knowing what this was, and I could try to get the colors the way I wanted them. Now this was done with the Arteza paint pens, which I don't really recommend. They just aren't very opaque, and I find their nibs fall apart. I just don't really like them at all, but I'm using them until they're gone. And their colors, they don't have any reds. It's a very strange color palette. But so I use the Arteza paint pens and then regular acrylic paint. So I have folk art and, well, at this time I had folk art and I had apple barrel. And I like the apple barrel better. And I find with these big spaces, it works better to just use a paintbrush and paint. So most of this was done in paintbrush and paint. I think the only places where there are pens might be this light blue is probably a pen. Everything else is paintbrush and paint. Now, acrylic paint, you have to go over it a couple times, so that's kind of annoying. So this by far is not a fast coloring page, just because it's color by number. I found it takes just as much time as any other page does, but they sure end up cool, don't they? The illustrations in these books are just really, really great. And when it's done, the thing just pops off the page. So I'm so pleased with the end results. And I really, really, my favorite part is always the black outlining. I love the black. It's so meditative. In fact, what I'm doing with a lot of these now is the black outline first, which gives me the gist of the picture earlier on than it would if I was just doing it in color blacks. But it makes it a little bit easier, because then I don't have to keep going, oh, there's a 5. Oh, there's another 5. There's another 5, because it's been outlined already. And I know that all that's a 5. And I like that. It makes it a little bit more mindless, a little bit more color by number-ish, the whole reason I color these. And then if I go over the black lines on accident, I can just do the black lines again, which I don't mind doing twice because they're my favorite thing. But this is great. This is one of my favorite Pixar movies. And so it was a lot of fun to do this. So Doodle Robot, this one was for you. Okay, the next we have Stained Glass. It's a Zen Doodle book, color by number. And this is Deborah Muller. And there's a couple of us, Tammy Colors 2 and Stephanie Napolitan, that have buddies in this. And that we have the three of us tend to do pages. We did this one. last month. And it's not a monthly thing. It's more like, hey, do you feel like doing a page? Yeah. Okay. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? And then someone selects a page and we do it. So we just have a little Instagram chat and we just do these together and then we share them with each other. And it's a lot of fun. This one, I tried something completely different, as you can see, where I usually use alcohol markers for these sorts of things. This paper is super thirsty and it sucks up the alcohol marker. So instead of sitting on top of the page, they suck into it and leave sort of like a textured look, kind of a fuzzy look, which is nice, I like it, but doesn't lend itself to look stained glass though. So I decided to try a different medium and I used acrylic paint. This produced something that I think I like better. However, it was slow because I had to do second and third coats of everything. So yeah, that is the only drawback to using acrylic paint is the final piece I really like. I think the colors are brighter. They're on top of the page rather than sinking into the paper. But wow, does it take a while. However, I had a lot of fun doing this giraffe, and here are my two buddies. Aren't they great? Even though the colors called for are the same, because we're using the same book with the same color palette, they end up looking different. Now for me, I got tired of just one color blue and ended up deciding to make to color block these different colors of blue, trying to make it look even more like stained glass, but these were all the same number. I just got bored with one color. But it's interesting how we all tackled this differently. A lot of fun. All right, let's see what I did next. So still in the mood to do a color by number, I brought out my favorite color by number book, which is this Villains color by number. Now the way I color in this, and this you can get at Walmart. You can also order it off of Amazon. The way I tackle this is, my first page was this, where I was just playing with it, and I don't know, the colors were kind of crazy. But then what I started doing, this is not finished, what I started doing is when I was painting something else, if I had extra paint left over in my palette that I didn't need for the current picture, I come in here and I find, like I had extra black. And so one time, I did her black, and then I did the next thing I could find that needed black, and the next thing that found black. And so after a while, when I'm doing that, I find that my pages start getting completed. So this one I intentionally finished this one. This one was done with those Arteza acrylic paint pens because I was practicing with them to see if I liked them and stuff. So I did that one. This is one I also did. Started with the paint pens, hated the colors, switched to acrylic paint. So that's a finished page that I did a couple months ago. This one I think is finished. There's more that could be done with the cards. Now, one of the biggest, and I think probably only negative to this book, because this one is single-sided, Hatchet Heroes, are you listening? Is that numbers are missing from spots. It's like, I don't know, did they think you'd just fill it in, or it's up to you? It's almost like they're just not printed accidentally. So sometimes you have to look at the finished page to see what the color is. So here's an example of one where I was painting something else that needed this dark reddish purple and something else that needed this light purple. And so I just find other places to put those colors. Here's some black. Here's some black. I was using some gold somewhere, so I just go forward through this, and here's some brown I was using for something else, and then some gold I was using for something else, and some black. These are all done at different times, and I just paint forward. And I got this idea from Feral Shoujo, who does a lot of color by numbers out of Hatchet Hero books. Here's some black. I use a lot of black acrylic in other pictures. However, just even one drop out of the bottle goes a long ways. So I always have black. I had some red and green that I'm working on. That's a whip that I'm working on. And this. Okay. This is the one that I finished. Now this one, I had done the black because I had some black left over at one point. And then I just kind of got in the mood just to finish a page in here. And so I got out my markers, and I think most of this was done with those Arteza acrylic paint pens. You can see it's streaky. They are very streaky. But I really like this. And then this is this is actually a gold paint pen. You can see because it's streaky and not solid coverage. If I had used the watercolor, it would be solid coverage. But I decided I just wanted to make this fast, and I used the paint pens. And it worked pretty well for this. Again, the black outline really makes these. Most of these are black outlined, and it just really makes the whole picture come together, even if the coloring job is not that good. So that one was a lot of fun. And someone told me on Instagram who this is. Is it from 101 Dalmatians? I've forgotten already who this is and what movie this is from. Something like that. Lady and the Tramp? I don't know. If you know, let me know down in the comments. But a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And again, this is my favorite color by number book. Mostly because the quality of the paper, because of everything. I mean, look at this. The line drawings are amazing. The paper is very good. And it's one-sided. And you have a little bit of everything. Fun, fun, fun book. And you have, at one point I knew how many pages, but about 1,000 it feels like. You have a lot of pages in this book. All right, let's see what I did next. All right, next I have 3 different buddy colors. Now I did have the buddy with the Deborah Moeller stained glass, and these were the other buddies I did for the month. So let's start with Christina's hashtag. And Christina's Art Corner, she's going through this Tropic Goth Carla Mangano book. This is the only Carla Mangano book I have, simply because she has such a huge catalog of books. I didn't know where to start because I just started my coloring journey like a year and a half ago. And I hadn't gotten into her. I absolutely love her. It's just I didn't know where to start with getting books from her. So when Christina announced she was going to do this, I decided, yeah, okay. So I got this book, and now we're doing the whole book together, and every month she picks a different page. I haven't participated in every single month, but most months. And this month was, let me see if I remember. Oh, this was the first one I did. That was not this month. This month's, was the cheetah print dress. So this was last month's, or the last one that I participated in. And these drawings are just so much fun. This next one I did was the cheetah print dress. All right. So this is pumpkin-tastic. So I was ready for Halloween. I decided to make her have a cheetah print dress. I had to look online how to draw a cheetah print, and to make it mostly orange. Now this background is orange acrylic paint. It could have used 2 coats, but by the time I did one, I didn't want to do another. So it's streaky and not solid. But it does add some shine that I like. The rest of this is all alcohol marker. There is some Kuretake Gansai gold in here. I think that could be a gold paint pen as well. This is definitely the Kuretake Gansai Tombi gold watercolor that's in her hair and in her headpiece. The rest of it is pretty dark because I wanted her to really stand out, except for the gravestones. But I really wanted her to be just all jungle-licious and wild looking. She kind of reminded me a little bit like a combination of Superwoman or Wonder Woman and She-Ra. And that's kind of what she reminded me of. Now, the buddies that colored these did them all very differently. And you can find all of it's a large group. You can find all the completed pictures on Christina's YouTube. But what fascinated me was I thought it was pretty clear that her dress was cut like this. However, people did them differently. Several people, this part where I made naked thigh, they made that part of the dress, and it was just like a color blocked dress. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot more modest than what I did. And then another person made her have like booty shorts on with a skirt over it. Super cute. but I never once thought that those were clothes. It's neat how we all look at things differently. I put her in hardly anything. I figured she has been living in the jungle for a long time, and that's all the clothing she has left. Of course, she has her fishnet tights and her heels, but her dress has gotten torn along the way. Anyway, so that's my Tropic Goth girl. This book is so neat. Oh my gosh. I hadn't seen that one. Every time I look through this, I see another one that I mean, every page is phenomenal. The one we're doing this month is The Girl with the Bat Wings, which is perfect for Halloween. And I'm really excited. I have not started on it because I've been really obsessed with all sorts of Halloween coloring this month in October. And I haven't gotten to the Batwing girl yet, but she is, but she is on my list to do. And I'm pretty sure this is the right one. There's a couple with bat wings, but I'm pretty sure this is the one for October. So I'm going to keep this out in my coloring pile and get to work on it this week. All right. Another buddy I did is with my sweet friend Kate from Coloring with Kate. We like to do Matchstick Mouses together, and I had not done anything out of the summer coloring book. I couldn't believe it. So we got together and we did this one. Now, this is all alcohol markers. Yep, everything's an alcohol marker. And I had a lot of fun trying to draw shade. I'm not sure what's going on with the leaf up here, but the shade part, I had to really think about it, like where would shade be cast and how do I draw shade? I really enjoyed it. I'm not exactly sure where the sun is coming from. I probably should have settled on that because this shadow goes this way, this one goes this way, this one goes this way, except his leg's in the sun. What? And her leg. But I just had fun. I had fun practicing shade and practicing mostly having shade go partly across something and what that would look like. Lots of fun. This is a great little book. I can't believe I went all summer and didn't color in it. So this was my rendition, and here is Kate's. Now, Kate made her ice cream chocolate. Chocolate is her favorite. And I made mine, I couldn't decide if it was strawberry or peppermint. I like both. I really love peppermint. It's my favorite. So that's what I made mine, but she made hers chocolate. And it's so much fun to buddy color. This month is particular emphasize buddy colors, Spicy Cat colors. She emphasizes buddy ween during October and encourages people to reach out, especially people who have never buddy colored with someone before. And buddy coloring is a blast. And don't be scared if you've never asked somebody. Just go on their Instagram, direct message them, whatever, and ask them if they'd like to buddy color. And if they don't answer right away, don't worry. It's just because we get a lot of messages. And sometimes, like me, I'm just got my head in a book coloring and I'm not paying attention to social media. But definitely do hit me up if you ever want to buddy. I'd be happy to. It's a blast to see how someone else interprets the same page you're doing. And it just is a way to build friendship and companionship and community, which is at least what I'm all about here. That's why I'm here making the big bucks. LOL. All right, my last buddy color of the month was in this one. Now, Doodle Robot also runs, I think, co-hosts this Mid-Century Modern Animals group. It's an Instagram group. There are many of us in there. Every other month, we do a page, and you're not required to color in it. Some, I show up I'll do it twice in a row, and then we'll disappear for a month or two. But they're so much fun because this book is fun to modify. For example, this was a page I did a few months ago. No way did this page look like this when we first started. It had the way these pages tend to have lots of strange doodlies and stuff around, mid-century type doodly stuff. And if you use acrylic paint, it goes over everything. So I made the doodles into ice that were in drinks, and I drew these glasses and cups around. So you can greatly modify anything. This one I did not modify. This one I just painted. And I tend to use, this one was greatly modified. I tend to use acrylic paint in this book. It's single-sided. You can use anything. It's got very good paper, and Yeah, so it holds up to almost anything. So what we did this month was this one. Okay, here is what this page looked like to start off with. Now, that's just way too many cats. I didn't know what to do with that. All I could see was a mobile. I'm like, when I just gonna pick a color palette? It just was, I wasn't gonna do it at all because it just seemed kind of boring. And then I got to looking at the cats and I'm like, gosh, they look like aliens. And that's where this was born. So as you can see, like Doodle Robot says, when in doubt, black it out. So all of this black acrylic paint just covered up most of everything. And I looked hard at the cats. I wanted everything centered. And it didn't really work out with getting a bunch of cats in the picture. Then I thought, well, what if just the light is here? And if the cat hangs out, I'll just put their eyeballs where they should be. So I didn't figure, though, because not so smart, that painting it black first, now I can't see the lines. So I just sort of like, okay, if this neck is going here, I would guess the eyes are about there. So I used yellow acrylic for the eyes. And then I just had fun. Of course, I made some things go into other things and other things I painted out. So these things weren't necessarily all together and had more doobobs up here. And I thought this part looked like a ray gun. So I just painted over that part, made it into a ray gun by adding some lines to connect it all. This cat kind of looked like that, but I made him kind of flying in the air I made his tail part of his apparatus. This cat had nothing to stand on. I tried to make a rock. That didn't really turn out very well, but whatever. Because then I did this. I'm like, oh, that looks like a shadow. I should have made this not connected to this, like a shadow. So they're all floating. But I didn't, and I wasn't about to go over that again with more acrylic. This thing had doobobs on it. I couldn't figure out what to make it into, so I just painted it fun colors. Figured the viewer can figure out what that is, and again, tried to make a shadow underneath it. This green, I have a lime green apple barrel that I love, but I kind of mixed it with some gold to make this kind of baby puke yellow green, which I thought was awesome for the light. And then the flying saucer I just drew in, as you can tell. That's about the extent of my drawing abilities. And then I painted it several coats of both silver metallic paint and a pewter metallic paint or a black metallic paint. I kind of mixed them together to give it some texture so it wasn't just a shiny disc, had a little something going to it. And then I decided I wanted to make the stars and I wanted to make them spell something out. I meant to make it a little bit more better. But that's, again, as best as I could do. But I wanted to make the stars spell trust us. Because, yeah, these are alien cats. Don't trust them. Don't trust cats anyway. And alien cats really don't trust. So that was my page for the month. It looked very different. But these are a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you what everyone else did with their pages right here. As you can see, everyone tackles it differently. This group is probably my favorite color along group. If you do want to join, just hit Doodle Robot up and you can find her on Instagram and on YouTube. Because these pages, they lend themselves to being completely modified and it's so much fun. We had another page that had a whole bunch of cats like this, and Carrie Kay, she cut them out and actually made a mobile. Like, talk about creative. So yeah, this group's a lot of fun. So definitely, if you want to join us, we would love to have you. All right, and I have one more picture that I did this month. All right, the very last one I did, let's turn you down just a wee bit. The very last one I did was Enchanted Earth by Milpomene Chattopadhyay. I usually say that a lot better. By Milchat. I think we call her Milchat, but Milpomene Chattopadhyay. There we go. All right, this book, oh my gosh, it's my favorite that I have of hers. I only have this one in Nature Mandalas. I don't have Circle of Life. I think if I had Circle of Life, I'd really enjoy it. I've done 2 out of here. I did this snail one a few months ago. Testing out some colored pencils, and I just really, really liked it. So I decided to go back into this one for the fall to find something, and I tried for my very first time Olga Rani's prompts. Now, Olga Rani on YouTube has weekly prompts, and I toyed with the idea of following along, and I got 1 weekend, and then I didn't get any more. But I did her prompt of nest. And so this is what I did. Now, this was originally just blink, 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 blink. There's no background or anything to it. And I didn't really know what to do with the background. So that's kind of what just happened. But there's the winter nest, and it's got an elk in it. I had a lot of fun with that. There's a lot of gouache. I think this is gouache. There's a lot of gouache on this. And then alcohol markers, I think. Yes, alcohol markers. These are single-sided. Again, so everything is gouache and alcohol markers. Now, the shimmery stuff is some metallic acrylic. And I made sure to do something shimmery in every single one. This is the fall, or the summer. This is the summer. And I decided to make it the water that was shimmery. Here's this spring one, which I think is my favorite. Look at that fishy. And then it was fun using the alcohol markers to make the different texture look. So like, for example, in the fall, I use alcohol markers to give it depth with light and dark and all that. But then I brought in some metallic acrylic here and there to get it shiny. So this was what I did for her prompt nest. Now, Olga Rani requires you to email it to her, and I never did, because that's just one more step. I'm in a world of adulting full of steps that I just usually can't find the spoons to do. So I posted it, but I never sent it to her via email like I'm supposed to. It was just fun doing the prompt. And it makes you shop I had so much fun shopping. I went into all my books, and they're in my my bedroom, my downstairs bedroom. I have 2 bedrooms, and I sleep upstairs in some seasons and downstairs in the other seasons. I'm in a cabin, and so it depends on whether I need warmth or cool. And these are in my downstairs bedroom, and so I just went in there and laid down and looked through all my books. It was so much fun. I found several with nests, and then decided this was the one I wanted to do, because I didn't want to do something that would be like, oh, here's a bird with some eggs. I wanted to do something totally different and leave it up to MelChat to do something like this. So that's what I did. And that was my final picture for September 2023. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I enjoy making these videos. My videos are always just a little bit late because I do have, I spend all my spare time coloring, not gonna lie. So in the month of October, which we're already in, I'm off to a huge start. I already have 16 pages in, but that's because I took on a challenge of doing 31 Halloween scribbles out of Chris Reiniak's book. Let me grab it real quick. Chris Reiniak's book, Morning Scribbles Halloween Coloring Book. I have a few of his books. One pro tip, if you want to buy his books, go to his website, bindlewood.com. Put it right here, because you'll get books with much better paper, like fantastic paper. And when I show my October pages, I'll show you the difference. If you buy them off of Amazon, it is terrible paper. Terrible. In fact, and it's the drawings look kind of muddy. They're just terrible. And I'll show you the difference in my October video. I do have one book that I bought off Amazon, and I regret that. So I buy all the books off of Bindlewood, and if he doesn't have them in a book like Frogs and Friends, you have to buy them PDF. So go to the website to get his books, not Amazon. And so that's what's happening here. And that's why I have so many pages, because I'm doing one of those a day. So, and it's going well. And I'm also doing just everything Halloween. So you're going to see a ton of cute and scary, spooky pages for October. Well, I wish you guys all well. Thank you for sticking this out. Thank you for being here. You make my day. So when my days are not as good as they could be, I get on Instagram and YouTube and watch what you guys have done, and it just makes everything brighter. So thank you for all of your effort and all of the work you do, and for sharing your coloring journey with me. And I hope to see you in the next video. Be safe. Take care.